games with Susan Waldman coming up next season. But, man, you do an amazing job, and it had to be hard to leave Seattle to take this gig, but you're an East Coast guy.
Oh, absolutely. Born and raised in Philly, been here in New York my entire professional life, and getting back to the I-95 corridor has been great. I tell you what, love the people of Seattle. The thing, when I look back at the 18 seasons I had there, the bummer is that we only made the playoffs once. We missed multiple times by, like we did last year, one stinking game. We had the best pitching in baseball and couldn't get there because we had maybe the worst offense in baseball. But yeah, a lot of good friends, good times out in Seattle. But it's the Yankees, man. It's great to be home.
Now, how did you pull that off, sir? Like, I mean, I'm sure this was something that was known before the season was over, and you got to keep it under wraps, but still trying to apply for the job and maybe talk to some people from the Yankees every now and then. Like, how did that go in the last couple of months before you actually got the job?
Well, it wasn't at the point of a gun, I can tell you that. So, there's been, back and forth for an extended period of time, and then, John announced that he was going to retire 3 weeks into the season, and we happened to be in Maris happened to be in New York mid-May, and I made no bones about it. Went to the people, the decision makers, let them know how I felt. We had some good discussions, and things worked out.
And you know the Yankees inside and out. I mean, you covered the Knicks, you've covered New York, you've covered the East Coast, the American League East, obviously one of the best divisions. And I was reading one of the interviews you did with MLB.com, and the guy asked you, are you going to change your style? I guess at this point in your career, could you even change your style at this point?
Dude, there is no way in the world. Even if I wanted to, that's not going to happen. You're getting full tilt Dave Sims. I mean, come on. I mean, the fact that those guys I did a bunch of interviews, and it's been very gratifying and flattering and all that. And I appreciate the shout outs and all that good stuff. It's all part of business, but but do what I do, man.
That's right. And you're amazing at it. And you should have said to the guy, "Hey, now." I'm not changing who I am. Come on, man.
I mean, and I got guys asking, the legacy of John Choi. I said, John's got his own legacy.
Right.
And this isn't the first time I've replaced a legend. I mean, when I went to Seattle, I was in the on-deck circle with, Dave Niehaus was
that's right.
was the lead dog, right? And when I got there, he'd do the first 3 innings on TV. I'd do the first 3 innings as Rick Riz's sidekick on radio, and then the rest of the game was mine on TV. And then, sadly, when Dave passed, I became, the lead TV guy, and then we started, sharing it a little bit with Eric Goldsmith. So, hey, man, this is you get a lot of hey nows and ring the bells and what the hell was that kind of stuff, and it's going to be rock and roll, man.
Absolutely,
it's going to be fun. I mean, I had a friend, one of my radio guys out there, said, "Did you just quote Aerosmith?" I said, "Yeah, same old story, same old song and dance. Come on."
We hope so. We hope these catchphrases won't die when you get here. Obviously, get up, baby, giddy up. Hey, now is a good one for you. And then got him. I've always been interested in where people get got him in their system because it is kind of a baseball phrase when you get an out. Where did got him come from for you?
Well, Millar's certainly been pounding it hard the last few years on MLB. But growing up in Philly, we had Bill Campbell and Richie Ashburn, Harry Callis, Byram Som, and then I've been a sort of a broadcast nerd. I've been a jock all my life, but also a broadcast nerd at the same time. So it's an amalgam of a whole bunch of people, and also. How many times have I heard umpires say that, throw it out, I was a catcher and you throw it out in a second, got him, that kind of thing. So that's, and you got to bring a little verve, a little excitement, a little panache,
Yep. And you and my roommate of 7 years and one of my best friends, Norm Charlton, he was up there in Seattle with you, and he was a big got him guy off the but that was when we're busting the other team's chops.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of that comes out of the dugout and stuff like that.
Norm's a beauty. We did some of those Mariner caravans together. Oh my goodness, he is sit in the back of the bus and is laughing our tails off, man. He's something else.
He is a classic. and just, listen, you covered Ichiro and some of these other guys, and now you're starting to see them go into the Hall of Fame. Who are some of the guys in, like, let's just say, like, the last 15 years for you coming out of the AL West that are spectacular players that you've seen?
Yeah.
I mean, like Mike Trout's getting old now. They're going to move him to right field, I hear, this year, stuff like that. Who are some of your favorite people to cover?
Trouty speaks for itself. He's also a Philly area guy. He's an Eagles fan like I am. So as soon as I tell him, yo, man, I'm from Philly, I'm an Eagles fan. Yo, what up? So we had that working. Nelson Cruz, I know a lot of people still have it out for him because of, I don't even know if he did or didn't. It's allegations of drug use. But I tell you what, as a human being, he's one of the great guys I've ever met. And his 4 or 5 years with Seattle was
That's great to hear. I love him. I think he's what a hitter, too. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's where, I wish he was still playing so I could say, boom, stick, baby. He hit so many home runs. He hit the bulk of his home runs in his career with us in Seattle. Ichiro, Felix Hernandez. You might remember J.J. Putz, who was a beauty.
Oh, absolutely. I love J.J. Go back to Ichiro for a second, Dave. Explain to people how small Ichiro is.
Dude, if he goes $160, that's a lot. And I tell you what, when Junior came back, when Ken Griffey Jr. came back for second tour duty in 2009, he played all of 2009 in like a month and a half of 10. BP was special because they were in that last group. And, Junior hit 630 bombs. He might have hit 800 had he not been injured so much. But during BP in the last group, the last round, home run derby, Itch was putting him up in the third deck just like Junior.
Oh, my God.
That's ridiculous. And even now, like this past season, I'd get there 2:30, 3 o'clock. He's already lathered up, having been throwing, long tossing, and running and shagging with shagging balls of the guys at early BP. He's exceptional. He is possessed by baseball, and I give him a lot of credit, man. He's been to Cooperstown about 8 times. I'm pretty sure he's been in a Negro League Hall of Fame and museum in Kansas City, which is also a great place. He's a beauty, and his Mariners Hall of Fame acceptance speech in English had everything you could want. I mean, it was generous, it was stately, it was funny, and it wasn't overly long. So it was really good. He's a special dude, man. He's quirky and in a good way. And everywhere he's gone, he was with the Mariners, came back. He was with Miami. He was with the Yankees. Everybody loved him, and he worked his tail off. And all the superstars of his era, they latched on him every time. You see it all the time when guys would, before during BP and whatnot, and forget about when the Japanese players come over. Man, I know that they bow. And they're so. He is held in such high regard and respect that guys like Ohtani come out and they bow, and they hold that bow for a long time, man, because they're meeting baseball royalty.
Talking to Dave Sims. He's the newly minted play-by-play for Wfan Yankees broadcast. Can't wait to get started with this season with this man. Let's talk about this team, sir. Let's talk about the weaknesses. Just coming from like kind of an outside point of view, what do you think the Yankees need to shore up here to get back to the World Series?
Well, I have a podcast, and of course it's called Hey Now. I do it with my sons, and Booney was on a couple of weeks ago. And I said, now I know when you get to spring training, one of your focus, couple things you're going to focus on, base running and defense. He said, yeah, of course. I said, but you're going to turn it up about 100%, right? He said, yeah, he pretty much agreed with that. I mean, everybody remembers the 5th inning from hell in Game 5. And, boy, I tell you what, to this day, I racking my brain, I've been watching baseball since I was like 5. I can remember World Series dating back to 57. And, damn, I've never seen anything like that. It was just unbelievable. So they lose Soto. I wasn't crying in my beer because I had faith in Cashman that he would pivot beautifully, and he over-delivered, to be honest with you. Goldie, Belly, Fried, Williams, a couple other guys. I think they filled some spots. Now, of course, there's a big question mark at third base. What's DJ got left? Right now they got Jazz playing at second. Perfect world. not knowing any other circumstances, but perfect world. But like we used to trade baseball cards, I'd have loved to see Arenado at third. And even though he's made the turn for home, but he's still got game left. I thought that that would be a great move. It hadn't happened. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I like the pitching. I like I love the starters, and the relief corps is really good too. So with Williams at the back, so it's almost got the security blanket you had when Mo was there.
Well, hopefully Paul Goldschmidt is in spring training right now trying to get Arenado over there, because that's how it's going to happen. They're going to be like, he's going to be listening. This guy's amazing. That kind of stuff.
You know that, right?
Absolutely.
You get on the horn to take care of your boys too, and they're in a winning situation. I mean, I was getting on somebody the other day moaning about the Yankees. I said, "What are you talking about? You're defending American League champions.
You were in the World Series,
by a better team." Yeah, I said I missed by a freaking game last year. I don't want to hear it.
All right, so I wanted to bring up the facial hair because there's some people that are not old like you and I. They forget, like, the guys who've come through with the Yankees in the 70s, 60s, that had afros and huge mustaches and stuff. And it's like, oh, what about Yankee tradition? The Yankees had facial hair like everybody in the 70s and 80s. Explain that to people. Goose Gossage. I mean, my God, Sparky Lyle. Some of these guys had the most famous, Thurman Munson, some of the most famous mustaches in the history of baseball.
3 of the great Fu Manchus of all time, and who could ever forget Oscar Gamble, the definitive afro.
Biggest afro I've ever seen. Although I did love Bake McBride. He was my hero growing up.
Hey, that's a good go. That's a good 1A. That's very good, Dips. Good call. Did you get him out?
No, I'm not that old, Dave. Damn. I'm only 61. I wish I would have played against Bake McBride. Damn.
No, I'm not upset by that.
Oh, God, that's so nothing.
I called Susan. I said, we're not going to talk about this, We're not talking about this hair thing. It's like, all right, we got a new facial policy. They can wear beards next.
Yeah.
2-2 to Jones. I mean, please. I'm not going there. The one thing I did like, and I'm a big Sinatra guy, and that's where I got the "Hey Now" from. I got the World of the String. Hey now, I'm in love. That's where I got that from. Wow. But when the Yankees do lose a home game, they're not going to play Sinatra. They're going to keep it only for victories, which I think is terrific.
I love that.
Those are 2 little blips on the baseball card here for crying out loud.
By the way, my wedding song was "Fly Me to the Moon."
Here we go.
But my wife keeps forgetting that that's our wedding song. Is that a bad omen or what?
Usually it's the dude who forgets.
Exactly.
So points to you, man.
Thank you.
Now, we are huge Susan Waldman fans around here as well. We are super excited for this combination. And Dibs said you guys may have had some time together already?
Oh, yeah. When I was at FAN, she was the first voice heard on FAN, I want to say July 30, 1987. And I went to FAN in September of '89, and she was covering Knicks, she was covering baseball, and Coleman and I was my partner, one of the all-time greats. And we would, she would come on and, hey, what happened in the Knicks last night? We'd kick it back and forth, we'd argue, we'd have fun, we'd have laughs. So then I get the baseball job in '07, and boy, we were really good acquaintances. We've become good friends since then because I'd see her 3 times a year. Postseason, we'd go out. She, my wife and I, go out with Susan. She's a riot, and we would tweet it. I think she is the all-American texter because I was always texting with her. I know Eric Nadell, about 5 or 6 other guys, and I don't like if there was a game going on, the Yankees were on the East, and we were back home in Seattle, and I'd see something. If there was a nugget, some kind of piece of information she needed, or she was talking about our game, I'd give her a couple pieces of information, or just give her grief and she and Johnson, just give them the needle every now and then. So instead of texting from 3,000 miles away, I'll be looking right at her 6 feet away. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic. Well, Dave, so happy you got the job. Yeah, thank you so much for the time today, man. And I know you're headed down to spring training in a couple of weeks. So have a lot of fun, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, fellas. Good to hear your voices. And, go Yankees. I get down there in about 2 weeks. We're doing 7 broadcasts on the radio. You'll hear us largely on weekends. And then next thing you know, it'll be opening day. I think opening day is 30 days from today, I heard somebody say today.
Awesome.
Pretty good.
God bless. Safe travels, man. You too.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Dave Sims, everybody, your new play-by-play voice of the New York Yankees. Oh, dude, he's electric. He's into every pitch. So be ready. You're not going to be bored listening to Yankees games anymore.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I think him and Susan are going to be a great team. Can't wait to get started.
Oh, yeah. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. David Benedict, our weekly hit with the athletic director of UConn, next.